Hello, ladies and gentlemen, loyal Imperial citizens and rebel scum alike. Welcome to another Liam Maiden gameplay video. Back with more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes today, and we're going to be taking a quick look at some of the news, a bit of a quick news roundup, some of the changes that are happening in the game, because we've had a lot of interesting news come out over the last few days about the future of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And as you can probably tell from the title, you know, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that I also play Marvel Strike Force. It's another game that I make videos about. I really love both these games. There are a lot of similarities between them. They're both resource management and hero collector games, and what I'm going to be looking at today is how some of the new changes that we've got coming to Galaxy of Heroes seem to mimic some of the features that are already present in Marvel Strike Force. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so first of all, details of these changes can all be found in the road ahead, the October road ahead, which you can find on the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes EA Games website. This was actually posted on October 26th. There's a lot of good stuff here. There's a video from Crumb. Check it out if you haven't already. It does go into a lot of details on these upcoming changes, and I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details on a lot of the stuff here. Now, some of the great stuff, just to quickly mention that we're not really going to spend too much time on today, but some of the great stuff that we've got coming. So gear changes. They mentioned gear changes a while back, looking to address some of the gear grind, specifically helping people who are looking to relic characters, newer or mid-level players who are kind of, in fact, not just new and mid-level players, even late game players who are struggling to get the gear required to take characters up to gear 13. At long last, they are going to be making changes to the gear economy in-game, including updates to these challenges here, these events, gear events that, you know, we all do. We just sim them every single day and we end up with a bunch of gear that we don't really use. Well, finally, they're going to be updating those, giving us some actual useful gear that we will be using to upgrade our characters to relic and beyond. Really excited about that. Again, do check out the blog post. It goes into a lot of details if you want to see the kind of things that we've got coming down the pipeline. And this is also just phase 1, so we've got more stuff coming in future. The second big thing to mention is, of course, the upcoming Conquest 10 is going to see the introduction of Boba Fett, Scion of Django. The new Boba Fett character is going to be entering the game. Really excited to take a look at him. So separately from this road ahead, they do have a post on the developer blog there, which goes into details about Scion of Django's kit, exactly how you're going to use him in-game. He looks really awesome, and I'm very excited. We're actually going to talk a little bit more about him in a second, because there's a specific element that I want to take a look at and compare that to Marvel Strike Force. But that's the other big thing, so do go check that out if you haven't already. It might be a little while, might take a little while for some of us to unlock him, because he is going to be another one of these characters like Cat and the new Darth Maul that you can only unlock through conquests, but he looks like he's going to be a great addition to the game. Do go and check that out if you haven't already. And then, of course, in November, we've got the 6th anniversary of the launch of Galaxy of Heroes. It's amazing. This game is 6 years old. I can hardly believe it. So on November 21st, which I believe is the actual game's birthday, but throughout November, they're going to have a bunch of extra stuff that they're giving us, a bunch of cool rewards that they're going to be giving out. So that is also very exciting. Again, take a look at the post to get the details there. But let's go back and take a look at some of these elements, new additions to the game, changes to the game that I think are really kind of eerily familiar to things that we already see in Marvel Strike Force. Let's take a quick look. So let's go back to this new version of Boba first of all. Now, one of the things that they tell us about Boba Fett, Scion of Django, is that he's going to have mode-specific abilities. In other words, abilities that he can only use in specific modes of the game. They're only going to come into play in specific game modes, and he's not the only character. They actually give a list of other characters here who are also going to benefit from these mode-specific abilities, and we're going to activate them via the introduction of a new resource, Omicrons. Omicrons or Omicrons that we're going to use to activate these mode-specific abilities. Again, do check out the blog post. They list a bunch of characters that are going to benefit from this, and I actually think it's a really interesting way to breathe new life into old characters. So Rose Tico, Captain Phasma, Qui-Gon Jinn, for example, characters that you know, we don't really have a ton of use for in the game at the moment. This could be a way to really make those characters useful and relevant again. I think it's a great innovation for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but it's one of these things that we already see in MSF. Now, players who are already familiar with Marvel Strike Force are probably going to have an idea of where I'm going with this, and Ghost, of course, is a prime example of that. Ghost is one of these characters in Marvel Strike Force who, I mean, she's a great toon anyway, part of the Pimtech team, but you can really use her in a variety of modes in the game, but she has special abilities that only come into play in Dark Dimensions. So she's a character that a lot of people take up specifically to use her in the Dark Dimensions element of the game, because several of her abilities only really kick in there, or they're made more powerful when you're using her in Dark Dimensions. Now again, I think this is really a great part of the gameplay of Marvel Strike Force, because it encourages you to develop a wide and interesting roster, right? You can't just focus on a single team that'll get you through everything. You have to keep developing characters, which means that there are ideally, fewer characters that you really don't have any uses for in the game. That are just useless characters that bloat your roster and don't actually bring anything to the gameplay. And I think it will be really great to see this in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I think it's one of those innovations that the game has really been missing. So I'm really pleased, whether this is just something that they kind of came up with or took from, directly from Marvel Strike Force and other games that maybe also use a similar mechanic. I think it's really great that we're going to see this introduced to Galaxy of Heroes. Secondly, we've got this new calendar login. Now, this is in many ways just a visual update, but as they mention in the developer blog, The Road Ahead Online, this is really part of a new expansion that they're going to be doing related to the login rewards. Now, I really love this visual update, and again, it's very similar to the visuals that we have in Marvel Strike Force. Now, the way this works in Marvel Strike Force, so in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, obviously we have always only had that one login. So you've got your reward for this month, and then you get little rewards if you log in every day of the month. What they're talking about doing in the blog post, similar to MSF, is they're going to have perhaps multiple calendars going at a time. So you might have a login calendar that is generally speaking addressing rewards for the month. Then you might have another one that is specifically for an individual week, and then you could just have event-specific calendars too. So something that they do in Marvel Strike Force, for example, is that they have calendars when they have a legendary event coming up, and you need a specific team to unlock characters. So the Omega Red event is coming up soon. So here they're giving you shards that you need for Secret Avengers characters to unlock the legendary Omega Red. So a specific calendar that helps you prepare for that event. Again, I love to see this being brought over to Galaxy of Heroes. I think it's going to mean that the login character is much more important, and obviously from Capital Games' point of view, it encourages people to keep logging in every day and keep engaging with the game. I really love it in Marvel Strike Force. Can't wait to see how they deploy it in Galaxy of Heroes as well. Visual changes don't stop there, of course. I love this new combined arena screen. They've been talking about doing this for a while. I think it's really great. Clearly shows your rank and lets you choose which arena you're talking about. And on this main screen here, I was very excited to see, if you check the Grand Arena button in the corner there, it shows you what phase we're in. So GA attack and 6 hours left. I think that's going to be so useful. I've missed so many attack phases just because I've kind of lost track of things, and I think we're still in the setup or the matching phase, and that means I lose out on my opportunity to attack. So these little visual changes, I'm loving them. Thank you so much, CG. And now the final thing I want to talk about and compare to Marvel Strike Force is the upcoming introduction of a battle pass or event pass for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now, this is something that I know there's been a lot of discussion about online, a lot of people commenting on this, and a lot of opinions. And it's important, I think, that we can all air our opinions, and the bottom line is we don't know exactly how it's going to play out until they launch it in game. However, this is another feature that we have had in Marvel Strike Force for quite a while now, and it's also proved contentious, especially at launch. This is, you can just see here kind of how it works. So, you know, these rewards on the bottom here, that's what you're getting for free. That's what I'm getting right now, for example. And you can see there's a different set of rewards on the top here. Now, this isn't necessarily going to make sense unless you're familiar with Marvel Strike Force. You don't have to be. Suffice to say, the rewards on the top are significantly better than the rewards on the bottom. So if you do pay for the Battle Pass, you're getting better gear, better materials. They're worth an awful lot more and harder to come by in the game. This is also a way that Marvel Strike Force sometimes allows you to unlock characters. There have been a couple of character introductions that you could only unlock if you bought the Battle Pass. Now, what normally happened was they then made them available at a lower drop rate for the free Battle Pass the next time around, but basically it's another way to give exclusive access to content. Now, I've got to be honest, I have never paid for a Battle Pass in Marvel Strike Force, and personally I haven't really minded. Now, it does seem to be worth it if you have the money to spare, especially if it's unlocking a new character, right? I really understand why people are willing to spend that money to gain access to these new and often very powerful characters much quicker than you would if you didn't invest in the Battle Pass. But it's not something that I have ever done. I've still managed to unlock the characters when they come around to the free-to-play version, and I honestly don't mind it. Yes, it does kind of create a two-tier economy in the game. It's another way to manifest that, but let's be honest, the two-tier economy is present anyway. It's present in the game between those who spend money and those who don't spend money, and, you know, whales and minnows, right? There are various kind of striations, various different levels within the economy of all of these games. Battle Pass is just another manifestation of that. Now, I can understand people being upset by it, but I think that the message that I'm trying to get across is it's something that we have lived with in Marvel Strike Force for quite some time, and I really don't think it's been that bad. You know, the way I look at it is, at least I'm still getting these free rewards, right? Is it as good as the rewards, the pay-for rewards? No, and I don't really think it should be. If people are willing to invest the money, it makes sense that they would get better rewards at the end of the day. But I'm still getting something. It's better than nothing. And if I do, the advantage, I guess, with Battle Passes is, you know, if you do have to spare cash that month or however long the Battle Passes last in Galaxy of Heroes, you can spend it and enjoy a month of getting those higher rewards. Hopefully, it won't be too expensive in game, and they'll be able to keep it accessible for a large variety of players. But I honestly don't think it's that bad an innovation, and even as free-to-play players, we still will be getting rewards from the Battle Pass. They just won't be as good as the ones if you pay. I really think it's kind of a win-win situation. That's just my opinion, and that has been my experience in Marvel Strike Force, but I certainly do understand people's concerns, and I understand the general dialogue that's taking place around it right now, because it is a big change to the game. So with that in mind, I'd be really interested in hearing what you think about these changes. So as I've hopefully shown here today, a lot of the things that they mentioned in this road ahead, a lot of the upcoming changes to Galaxy of Heroes really mimic or emulate innovations and game modes that we already have in Marvel Strike Force, and actually I don't think any of them are that bad. Yes, of course, CG have been very clear that a lot of these innovations are in place so they can make more money from the game, and that makes sense, right? It is, at the end of the day, it has to make money for CG. It's a commercial property, and I think it's fine that they want to make money on it, right? We get a lot of enjoyment from playing it, so that makes sense. They're going to increase the monetization of the game. I think the ways they're doing it, these are tried and tested ways to increase monetization and engagement in a game, and I think they also give back to the community, because even free-to-play players can benefit from them, and I think the Battle Pass is a clear example of that. But what do you think? I'd really love to hear your thoughts, comments, and criticisms, and kind of general feedback on how you feel about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the direction that it's going in, and the road ahead in general. Let me know down below. I always appreciate reading your thoughts and comments. Well, that is all for me today. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey. If you have enjoyed this video, found it entertaining or informative in any way, please consider giving it a like, a thumbs up down below. I really do appreciate it, and it helps out the channel. And while you're here, why not consider subscribing to Liam Aiden Gameplay? I drop new gameplay videos for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and of course Marvel Strike Force as well every single week, and I would love to have you along for the ride. That is all from me today. I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, look after each other, and remember, the Force will be with you always.